Hi, this is our summary video for our first week of the elimination system. Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Minke, and this is Minke Wellness. We've been working in our YL Wellness 17 program, and we begin the elimination. So this is our first week. It's actually week 13 of our entire program, but it's our first week of the elimination program. So what we did was, on our first video, is go over a basic overview of the elimination system, describing how we have basically two structural components. We have the last part of the digestive tube being the colon and the parts of that, and how that's the first thing we think about in terms of elimination. We think of the colon, but we have the second part anatomically separate from the colon or the digestive tube at all, and that's the kidney and bladder system. The kidney, the ureters, the bladder, and the urethra coming out of the body. So we have those two systems for elimination. Of course, the bowel is designed, end of the digestive system designed to eliminate, push the unwanted, undigested, well, it's all digested hopefully by this time, but the unwanted material that's in the food that we eat, we want to eliminate that. We want to push that on through the tube. And then there's also metabolic toxins that we dump into the colon for the purpose of eliminating. So there's two aspects to eliminating out the bowel, and then the kidneys that function to filter the blood and pull, keeping a balance. The kidneys is really about filtering and balance, but they are also there. We excrete material that comes out of the body. We pull it out of the bloodstream and get rid of it through the urine. And we'll talk the details on that, but that's the basics in our overview. Now, we also have backup systems for the elimination that we kind of mention, and we'll get more into those as we come to them. But there are two backup systems. If you've been through our program, you know that the respiratory system we talked about is one of those backup systems, and the other is the skin. And we did a little discussion on sweat and tears, that those can also help us eliminate like stress toxins and things, or stress hormones and things like that. We had a brief mention of the effects of stress on elimination, and then we talk about the morning water, how good that is to help get the whole elimination system going. We've been doing that the whole time, and so we want to talk about, basically when we talk about the elimination system, we really want to keep healthy. We want healthy poop. We want healthy pee. We want to get these systems working, because otherwise those toxins accumulate. So the first, then once we did our overview, we want to consider the colon, okay? And when I say colon, we're talking about, the large intestine and all the parts of that. And so we go over the parts of the colon. We start down in the lower right where the appendix would be, and we have the ileocecal valve between the bottom part of the small intestine, ileum to the cecum to ascending colon, hepatic flexure, transverse colon, splenic flexure, descending colon down the left side, sigmoid colon, and then the rectum and anus going out. So we look at that tube, and that's a continuation of the digestive tube, so that shouldn't be all that difficult. We've been doing the breathing into the tube, but there's lots of we talked about how there's lots of structural challenges, there's lots of pooches and folds, and we looked at the couple things. What affects the colon? Mainly our food, and what we put in the food, and our posture, right? Because the colon is very, very susceptible. It's very susceptible to structural bends and stuff, and if we're all hunched over, we're really going to impact that. Transverse colon in particular falls and tends to prolapse or fall and pull on these flexures, and so they can create pain syndromes, structural pain syndromes, and things that are going on. Also, the sigmoid colon can adhere to the hip and actually throw the hips off and rotate the left hip forward. So there's lots of things that can happen with the interplay between the colon being out of balance and throwing off structure, and the structure having a problem and messing up the colon. So we've got to make sure that we have a holistic approach about this. A lot of people have bowel problems or elimination problems, and then they think they can take an herb or even enzymes and fix their digestion, and it's not a digestive problem. The problem is a structural problem, that they're collapsed down across the thing. They really need structural work and help. So that's why we're looking at this from a more holistic standpoint. If you haven't found the answers you're looking for, maybe you'll get a better understanding going through this program. Now, we talked a little bit about the Digesting Cleanse capsule, again, talking about how soothing and cooling it can be, especially for that transverse colon, because it breaks open right there. And we did a little bit of breathing to connect and to clear and strengthen. And if I did one breath, and I'm going to start down here at the lower right, breathe up the ascending colon, breathe around the flexor, hepatic flexor under the liver, breathe across the transverse colon, fold back to the back again to the splenic flexor, down the descending colon, curve around again. So all these curves, all these bends, they're pretty tight curves here. The sigmoid colon, out the rectum. Now, once you make that connection, I can breathe one breath of cleansing and strengthening, and I can use my rosebush metaphor or image, and really feel the vitality coming in and getting the vitality, getting connected to that vitality of that particular organ. Every time we do this and we get in touch with our body, we get smarter. And being smarter gives us better chances to make decisions earlier in the game, before I hurt myself. I can start identifying things and say, I don't do that. I'm going to make the decision not to eat that because I'm starting to be more in touch with my body. So then we talked about the 5-day Nutritive Cleanse and went over how the different products work in the cleanse. And one of the things that is that I think is amazing about this 5-day Nutritive Cleanse that I really don't see this in other cleanses and other products and other approaches, is that we have a saturation of antioxidants. And it's so critical to have those antioxidants, because when we cleanse, when we look at toxins, we are asking toxins to leave the body. Those toxins are going to come out. They're still toxic. And when the mechanism of action of most toxins is to create free radicals and cause free radical damage. So we need those antioxidants to protect from those free. So we're flooding the body with nutrients with the NingXia Red product, fabulous product with super antioxidant, but it's both water soluble and fat soluble antioxidants because it has the essential oils in it. So I'm just so impressed with that product. And as it applies to cleansing, so brilliant to put an antioxidant saturation product into a cleanse, because it's so needed. And during that, we want those toxins to leave. We're actually asking stored toxins to be mobilized and come out, and yet we're not necessarily giving the body the protection it needs. And this does that. So it's amazing. So we get that protection for the cellular machinery. We have the fat-soluble antioxidants that will penetrate all the way through into the cell. So we're ready. It's fabulous. Now we're going to do a diet change. It's so we're going to reduce food take for those 5 days. So you can. It is a cleanse from a standpoint of we are going to do a diet change, and we go through that and talks about that. But we also have some other supplements. We have the NingXia Red supplement for the saturation of the antioxidants. We have the Digesting Cleanse, again, product we've talked a lot about for really helping to provide an opportunity to open up and to talk about phase 1 and phase 2 detox. In that phase 1 where we mobilize toxins out with essential oils. And then we have the fiber product that's in the Protein Balance Complete. So not only do we get a fiber product, but it's not just an empty fiber product that's by itself. It is actually totally balanced with the protein source, minerals, lots of nutrients. And so we do need that fiber to trap the toxins as they come out and sweep it out. And that's that Balance Complete product I'm talking about. It is a whey-based protein. So if you have trouble with whey, I don't care for whey. I personally have trouble with whey, and yet for me, this is still the quality of the whey is so good that I really don't have a problem with it. I might start feeling it. I feel my lymphatic system by the end of the cleanse, but it's only a 5-day cleanse, so I can manage that quite well. Now, so we talked a little bit about that 5-day Nutritive Cleanse, gave some idea of how that works. We do the support with our supplements, then we take a snack, and then we support and snack, support and snack, support and snack. So we have 3 snacks and 3 support. And it's going to be probably less food than you normally eat, but that's okay. That's a cleanse, and it's only 5 days. Okay. Then we, our 4th day, we talked about ComforTone. We did a little product review for ComforTone and bowel products. I've looked at a lot of bowel products and a lot of different cleanse products and things like that. And this is so well balanced. It has some of the well-known herbal products, herbal components that are designed to help cleanse and support and tone the colon, but it does it with the balance. So if it's, for example, it has Cascara sagrada, which is irritating, which can help to create a response from the colon. And then we have these balancers and soothers, lots of soothing components, the essential oils in there that are very soothing. It also has things that support and stimulate the liver to produce more bile, and that's the burdock and the barberry. And then we have the clay, the bentonite clay, to help trap and absorb those toxins. So it's got the echinacea and the for the immune support. It's got the cayenne pepper for circulation. So I mean, it's just really an extremely well balanced product that's not just going to go in and hit one aspect. It's going to gently and to support the whole colon process. Now we do want to take it in such a way that we get it flushed through. So I do recommend taking it with a lot of water and getting it through the system, so that we want to get that capsule down into the colon. Okay, and this brings us to our final video. We talked about the probiotics and the gut flora. So again, that's another product we want to flush through the system and get it down to the colon. But we talk about probiotics, and we need to make that distinction. A lot of people misunderstand the language between digestive enzymes and probiotics and yeast. And so what we did was to have a little discussion on that, and that we really want to look at the environment. Okay, you cannot just take enough probiotics to overcome a constant imbalance in the environment. The environment of the tube, the environment of your body, the chemistry of your body, the chemistry of your gut is what's going to dictate whether your gut is healthy, not pounding a whole bunch of probiotics. Yes, they can help, but then your body will go right back out of balance again, and you'll have to do it again. So you really need to look at this holistically, which is why we're doing this as a whole program. If you've been through my program, we've had 3 months working on this, okay? So we're ready to reflorate, reforestation, and so the toxins that can really imbalance the chemistry of the bowel. Poor digestion can imbalance the chemistry of the bowel. We've got chunks of food that make it in there that don't get digested. They don't get the pathogens or the fungus do not get digested in the stomach. They don't get broken down because the food chunks, we didn't chew our food properly, and the food chunks are not breaking down. So you've got inside these food chunks, you've got fungus that's waiting to bloom and grow as soon as it hits the long windy tube. And so we've got that harbors the fungus and the yeast. Fungus and yeast are the same thing. The yeast is a form of growth for the fungus. So we need to establish that gut flora, but we also need to keep the environment right. And not a product that you should not have to be taking your probiotics all the time. Once you establish them, they should be good. Now, if the environment gets out of balance, then we need to go back and do it again. But we basically should be, once we're good, we're set, we don't have to do it again. And this is this Life 9 clinically proven strains. We talk about how to take it. There's really 2 approaches that I look at how to take it. One a day for 10 days, making sure you do it with lots of water, flushing it through. That could be before bed. Or do a saturation protocol where one day you do a liquid diet and then take anywhere from 6 to 10 of these capsules in one day, and that's a saturation. You push it on through, and you see, that you're not going to. That is not a dangerous thing to do. But it may be, what I'm saying is sometimes you may need to be more aggressive, very short period of time, more aggressive. And like I said, I consider if you have not established your flora in 10 days of taking the supplement, then you've got a chemistry problem, you've got an environment problem. And so you got to go back and work on that environment. Just taking a whole bunch more of it isn't necessarily going to do the job. Okay, so that's our overview of our first week of the elimination system. And we, a lot of things to consider, but the focus has been the colon, okay? The focus has been the colon. We're going to go into, next week, we're going to talk more about the kidneys. So we'll get to know the kidneys a little bit and the products associated with the kidneys. And so hang in there for next week as we go into the part 2, or the second main system for the elimination. So hopefully this has all been helping you get a little bit more educated and on the how-tos and what's going on in your own body and your consciousness applied to it. Happy wellness. We'll see you tomorrow.